Uh, in previous session, we looked at first 4 topics. Okay, so we went through overview like server will maintain depot files and the metadata. Depot files nothing but the version files. So it'll maintain uh, like a directory structure. I mean whatever the way you are going to check in, but for the text files, each it will maintain only one file for different versions. So but for the zip files, it will actually maintain one file for each revision. Okay, but for metadata, I mean metadata is a information about the version files as well as the users. Like it'll have information what are the users are registered with the server, what are the clients, I mean what is the history, who checked in, which version, from which machine it is actually checked in. So that kind of information will be there in the metadata. Okay, so Perforce server uh, supports two kinds of architecture. One is a centralized, another distributed. So centralized, yes, I mean this is just like a client server. So you have one server with the different clients. Um, in the distributed environment, I mean, we will make use of the proxy server. Um, so here, I mean, request always goes to the central server, even though you have proxy server at your location. But thing is, I mean, the file, the version file will be served from the proxy server if it is available in its repository. So if that is, if proxy server doesn't have the local version file, then it will try to download from the main server. So a version file will be downloaded only once from the main server to the proxy. Uh, there is some echo. Okay, let me mute all. All right. Okay, so proxy server the will have information only about the version file, but not about the metadata. So whenever client requests for any file, so it will check the metadata from the main server itself. So if that version file is available, then proxy server will give from its own repository, but otherwise it will get that file from the main server and it will serve to the client. So what I want to say is the version file will be transferred from main server to proxy only once, that too on first request. I mean, it's not that it is going to happen whenever it is going to check in. No. So it will take that file from the main server to proxy upon the first request. If none of the client requested a particular file, meaning it will not download that particular file from the main server to the proxy. Okay. So here we looked at the discussed about the clients. So P4 is the command line, P4V is a GUI tool, uh, P4 web. I mean I didn't configure this, but it is available. P4 web, okay, and the plugins. If you have any IDE you are using for your development like Visual Studio or IntelliJ or Eclipse, there are many other plugins also available. So from there also you can actually do the purpose operations. Okay, and also we looked at the terms which we use in the purpose. So depot, sync, check-in, checkout, submission, um, change list, revision, workspace. So today we look at the job and the label. What is job and what is label? Okay. So we looked at even the installation of the server, and we created one user called Joe and set the password. Then we installed the client. Then we looked at the basic operations like adding the files, then modifying the file. First we added the file and submitted, then we modified the existing file, and also we went through different tabs on the UI P4V. So this is what we looked in the last session. Okay, so today we'll do a little uh, some different operations like advanced. I want to call it as advanced because it is little uh, manual intervention is required or attention is required when you do these operations. So that's why I want to call it as an advanced operation. Okay. So in advanced operation, so how you mark a file as a delete, meaning how you delete a file which you already checked in. Sync to a particular change list or revision, look for history, inspecting the client files, working with saved change list, branching and merging. Let's see these. Okay, deleting a file. So from the command prompt, it is just simple. Before delete with the file, give the file name and then the submit. So that file will be deleted. Here, I'll do it from the UI. So this is a Joe and this is a workspace. I'm just connecting here. Okay. Now I want to delete aaa.txt. Okay. So let me. If you go to the pending, so I don't have any pending check-ins. Okay. So clean. So I haven't opened any file for edit or delete or added something. No. Okay. So let me do mark for delete. Okay, so default change list, yes. Okay, so if you see here, okay, so this file is marked for delete. That X mark is for mark for delete. Okay, just submit it. Just submit it. Deleting. See, I marked for delete. If you look at the local files, if you go to Joe P4 dev, so aa.txt is already deleted from your local um, directory. Okay, so whenever you mark for delete, it automatically delete from the local repository. Now, if I say let me uh, come out of this. Okay, I don't want to I don't want to do this. Okay, let me revert this. I don't want to submit this. I want to revert this. Okay, so revert the files. Okay, if you see the local directory again, so you get that. Okay, so whenever you mark for delete, it automatically delete from the local uh, file, local directory. So now I'll submit this. Okay, deleting. Submit. That's it. Okay, even you're not going to see that particular file here, even in the depot also. Okay, I will talk a little more about the delete file in this. The next section is called sync to a particular change list or revision number. Now, okay, I made few check-ins. Okay, I have some issue with the latest code. Okay, but I'm not able to find where the particular issue actually arose. I have 10 change lists. I mean, in between, okay, I mean, before the 10 change lists, it actually worked fine, but with the latest code, it is not working. Okay, so I want to isolate that particular issue. So what should I do? So in general, what they do is, okay, so here, if I go to the history of this particular depot, okay, so you have all the submitted change lists. Okay, so I think I think this actually worked fine with the change list 4, but when I sync to this change list number 6, it is not working. Okay, now I want to isolate this particular issue. So what I do is hmm, I'll sync to this particular CL. Okay, so I don't want the latest code. I want a particular state of the uh, of a of our my repository. Okay, so what I do is I'll sync to a particular um, state. Okay, so what I do is I'll sync to change list number 4. Okay, so get that revision. So now what I sync to the change list number 4. Now if you see here, okay, so you got a low mark here on few files, meaning you don't have the latest revision on the local disk. Okay, now if you see here, you got the aa.txt, means you actually deleted this aa.txt, but still you got it. Means what happens is when you delete a file on the server, it will mark for delete, but it is actually not deleting from its repository. It will mark for delete, that's it. So when you sync to the latest code, that will be deleted, but it actually not delete. I mean, it will have the revision history or file history with the server. Okay, so when you sync to the previous revision, you definitely get the deleted file, because at that state that particular file is alive on the active repository. Okay, so I sync to this particular CL with a 4. Okay, I'll try to see whether that particular issue arises or not. Okay, now here it is working fine. Okay, what I do is I'll go to the change list number 5. Okay, so let me sync to that particular change list number 5. So get the revision, go to 5. Okay, and get the revision. So it will sync to the change list number 5. So whatever the state at the change list number 5, okay, I'll get that into my local. Okay, still here we'll see. Okay, so you have, I mean, in the local directory you have aa.txt, because at the change list number 5 you have that particular file. Okay, now if I sync, now I'll check again, okay, whether that particular issue is there or not. If it is there, yes, there are something changed on the change list number 5. Okay, so here is the one file. Okay, this one is changed with the change list number 5. So I'll take a look on that particular file. Okay, so yeah, getting a particular revision or getting a particular change list will help us to, one thing is, I mean, you can go back to a particular state where you can have multiple, now I have multiple releases on same code line. Okay, so how depo, so today I'm releasing one particular um, version like 1.0. Okay, so with the changes number 6. Okay, I'll do some more checkings on the same on this particular depot. Okay, then I'll make as a, maybe you have change list number 20. Okay, so with that I'll make as a, okay, release number 2. Okay, so then release number 3. Okay, now I'm at a release number 3 with a 36. Okay, now I want to work on release number 1. I mean, I want to see how it goes. So you can you can actually sync to release number 6. Sorry, change list number 6, and you can get the state of release 1. Okay, so there is a question here. So A has 1/2. So what does it mean? So that is a question. Okay. So actually on the server it has 2 revisions. Okay. On server 2 revisions, but on my local I have the first revision. Okay. So like this. So I have 2 revisions here. I mean, so on the first revision it is actually added. Second revision I have deleted that particular file. Okay, if you take the, I mean, if I go back to the previous, I mean, I'll tell you. If I go back to, I mean, change list number 4. Okay, let me go to that particular change list number 4 to explain better. Get that revision. Okay, so third.txt. Okay, now if I see, this file actually modified for twice. Okay, so first I added, then I modified that particular file. Okay, now the third.txt is 1/2, meaning on the server you actually have two revisions, but in the client I have revision number one. Meaning whenever you whatever the content is there when you added the file, at this particular state, I don't have the changes in my local. I don't have changes which is made on the revision number 2. Okay, let me diff this with the previous one. Okay, um, uh, okay, so when I do this, okay, so this is a revision number 1. Okay, this is a revision number 2. Okay, now if I look at the local file, if I look at the local file, third.txt. Okay, so I have the state of the revision number 1 but not the revision number 2. Got it? Now if I sync to the latest, if I sync to the latest of this particular file, okay, so get the latest revision. Okay, if I open my third.txt, okay, so you will get that latest, meaning the revision number 2 changes. So it has 2/2, meaning it will get the content of even the second revision, right? So when I sync again to the latest, get latest revision, okay, so that aa.txt will go off, because in the latest changes you don't have aa.txt. So when you delete a file, it is not going to delete from the Perforce repository. It will mark as, it will just mark as a deleted. That's it. So when you sync to the latest code, you won't find that particular file in the local. But if you goes to the previous change list, so you may able to find it. You may able to find it. Okay. So that's about syncing to a particular change list. Okay, now I want to sync to the revision number 1 of this particular file. So I don't want to disturb any other files. Okay, I just want the revision number 1 of this particular file. Okay, you can actually get the revision. Okay, so specify using revision number. Here it's showing as a revision. Okay, so revision number 1. Okay, so I get the revision number 1 of this particular file. Okay, so meaning you are not going to have the changes. Okay, in the local file you are not going to have the changes which are made on the revision number 2. Okay, so you'll have only the file where the state of the revision number 1. So this way you can either sync to a particular change list number, or you can sync to a revision of a particular file. So that is the that way you can actually do some analysis, like where the system or code went wrong or something like that. Okay, so here in the presentation I shown like from the command line. Okay, so P4 sync, depot, you can do a CL, CL meaning entire depot will be synced to a particular CL number, the 4, 5, 6, that way we did from the UI. Okay, or you can sync a particular file. You need to mention here the file path with the revision number. Okay, here the @ is the CL number, here hash symbol is the revision number. So you have to give the hash space 1, 2, 3, something like that if you have. So you can sync via the command line. So there is a question getting to how the various revisions of the file, debugging errors, various revisions can be identified. Yes. So it's not just the identifying the issues. If you want to have the previous state of the code, that can be that is for any reason. Okay, so maybe to debug, or maybe to get that kind of state where you want to go back and do something. So for that particular purpose it will be useful. Okay, so looking for history. uh, from UI it is simple. Whenever you select this file and if you see the history, so it automatically shows the history. Okay, but if you want to look from the command prompt, yes, I mean just use P4 changes. It will print all submitted change list. P4 file log. Okay, if you give the file name, okay, P4 file log space file path. Let me show at least one command here. See, okay, so whenever you use any command, so first you need to set your environment, right? So you need to set three environment variables. One is P4 port, so which is set to your server local host. This is my server name, and the colon 1666. This is my port. Okay, set P4 user. So this is to set my username. Set P4 client. This is my client name. So Joe. Okay, so first you need to log in. P4 login. So same as user. So my user is logged in. So whenever you start your command prompt, so you make sure that these variables are set and you logged in. Okay, now I want to see the history of my depot. Okay, so here is the command P4 changes. Let's do. So it will print all, just like the history you see here. Okay, so depot. So that is the history. Okay. There is a question here, but I didn't understand. No client will fail. Is it not set? Oh. Okay. This is okay. I mean, until unless you do some client operations, meaning check in, check out. So if I do like this, P4 client is this. Okay. So I did something wrong here. Okay. So until unless I do like the check in or check out. Now if I do P4 sync, let's do a P4 sync command here. See, it'll say so that client. I mean, I didn't set anything here, right? So I mean, it will complain about that. So if I set properly, see, okay, if I do P4 sync, see, it is syncing properly. So yeah, I did. I mean, until unless you do sync, add, I mean, edit something. So till that time, it will not look for the client operations. So here I'm actually looking at the server changes, so that's why it is not complained about my setting, like I mean you have a wrong setting there. Okay, so now if I do P4 sync again, so all files are up to date. Okay, now so this is the command I use to look at the history of my depot. Okay, now if I want to look at the history of a particular file, okay, so P4 file log. So here you need to mention like this: P4 the depot slash first dot txt. So it will give you the history of that particular file. Okay, so revision number 2, the change list is 4. It is actually edited on this particular date by Joe at his. I mean, this is the client name, Joe Dev. Okay, and this is the description of that particular change list. Okay, so revision number 1, change 1, they added by this particular user on this particular client. with this particular description. Okay, so this is a one. So if you look at the last command, okay, instead of this, so if I use depot, okay, so what? So it takes that particular directory and it will print the history for all the files under that particular directory. So I mean dot. I mean I'm giving, this is a directory. I mean this is a depot. Okay, so dot meaning, I mean the uh, I mean immediate childs as well as the recursive. I mean even if you have any subfolder also, so it will go inside and it will print for that particular file. Okay, so P for file log, so it will even you will run on a particular file or you can run on a particular directory. So if you run on a directory, you have to mention that dot at the end, so that it will goes to the, I mean it's child as well as I mean if you have any subdirectories or something like that, even it will go inside and it will print those. Okay, so now at the current state I have 3 files, so actually 4 files, because I mean a.txt actually deleted. Okay, so for all it's printing the history. Okay, so that is about the history to look at. Okay, so inspecting the client files, see when you look at the UI P4V, it is very easy. It is very easy to see, okay, what are the files available on the server, what are the files available on your local. Okay, so if you go to even the workspace, I mean it will automatically show where that particular file is. Okay, I mean with the path and all. If you look at here with the depot tab, here it will show the depot status. Okay, now if you see, if you sync your previous revision, okay, revision number 1, okay, so get that revision, so it automatically here itself will show, okay, what is the revision number 1 available in the client and what is the revision number actually available on the server. But if you are using the client, I mean a command line client, so then we can use this uh, uh, these two commands like p4 have and p4 files. Okay, so if you run these two commands, let's see what happens. P4 have, okay, I have these files. Okay, p4 files. Oh, I need to give the path. Okay, so I have if you observe these two, okay, observe these two commands. Okay, output of these two commands. So P4 files will print the status on the server. Okay, and P4 have, so I mean the word itself giving that particular meaning. So what are the files you are having at the client? Okay, so if you find any difference between this output and this output, meaning you don't have the latest code. Okay, if you see the first.txt, here the first.txt has revision number 2, but at your local you have revision number 1. Okay, so this is just to inspect, okay, what are the files available on the server and what are the files, I mean what kind of revisions available on your local. So it is just to compare, okay, between your server and the client. That's it. Okay, so working with the saved changes numbers. Okay, now you have a situation like, I mean you need to work on 2 different bugs. Okay, so generally what to work on a particular bug, so you'll open a file, okay, you do some modifications and you will check in, right? So when you open a particular file, now let me get the latest. I'll show that. Okay, I got latest. Okay, now I got one bug to work on. Okay, now to resolve that particular bug, I need open this particular file. Okay, meaning I need to check out this file. Okay, so I checked out. Okay, even again I need to even check out this particular file to resolve the same bug. Okay, I got this. Okay, I still haven't fixed it. Okay, in middle I need to resolve another bug before I check in this. Okay, now for to fix that particular bug, suppose you need to edit this .txt. Okay, I'll check out this. Okay, now if you see here, okay, in the pending change list, okay, you have mixed. Okay, so some of the files are related to the first bug and some of are related to the second bug. Okay, when you try to submit here, okay, so now I want to submit for the second bug. Now here I need to select, okay, which are related to the second bug and which are related to the first bug. Okay, whenever you try to check it. So if you have 2-3 files is okay, but sometimes you'll have a situation where you need to edit 10 or 10 to 12 files for each bug, right? So that time what it is very difficult to remember all the file names and with the different paths and then checking. Okay, so instead of that we have a concept called saved change list in the Perforce. Okay, what I do is I'll revert all the files. Okay, suppose I have bug number 2 and bug number 3 I need to work. Okay, now first I'll this is a bug. I want to open these two bugs. These two files for bug number 2 and the third file for bug number 3. Okay, let me open that particular file. Okay, check out. Okay, here what I do is I'll say new. Instead of default I'll say new. In this changes description, okay, bug number 2. I'll just save it. Here when you do that, okay, instead of default it will actually assign a change list number here. Okay, so with that particular file. Now for the same bug I want to edit another file. Okay, let me do checkout. Okay, so here I'll select that particular bug number and I'll open it. So there are 2 files open. Now in middle I need to fix bug number 3. So for that I need to edit this .txt. So I'll check out. So instead of selecting anything, I'll press again new. So bug number 3. Now what you have a distinction between bug number 2 and bug number 3. So whenever I try to submit this, okay, so I'm done with the bug number 2. So when I try to submit this, here it will show only those 2 files for checking. Okay, so it will not show the other file which is actually open. Now if I submit this, okay, so you'll have only one file because you open this particular file in this particular changes. So you'll have a distinction between the change list. Okay, so you open this only this one file under this particular change list. So that is why it is actually giving only, it is showing only that particular file here. So that is the use of the change list. Saved change list numbers. Okay, it is just to work on multiple tasks simultaneously. Okay, so whenever you try to check in, once you are done with a particular task, it is easy to identify what are the files are modified for to fix that particular task or to do that particular task. Okay, so that is the use of the saved change list. So in the presentation I actually gave the commands to run on the command prompt. Okay, so by default all the files will be opened in a mute. Okay, so by default all the open files will be opened in the saved change list. But if you want to create a um, save changes, just run a P4 change. Okay, so this will open a notepad to add the description. Okay, like bug number 2, bug number 3, bug number 4, same, I mean, whatever it is, maybe feature ABC. So you can give any name for that matter. Okay, now here normally what, when you open particular file, so you'll say okay p4 edit, and you'll give that particular file name, right? So I mean, instead of just a file name, whenever you run the p4 change, okay, it will give one number in the output. Okay, so maybe it gives 7 or 8 or something. So that time, whenever you try to edit a particular file, so P4 edit -c, give that particular number 7 or 8 and give the file name. So here we are mentioning, okay, open this particular file in this number. Okay, then P4 submit. Normally what in general we run the P4 submit to submit the files which are open in the default changes. No, now I want to submit the files open in the change list number 7. Okay, just give P4 submit -c the change list number. Okay, so we are adding these two. I mean, in general, what P4 edit your file name. So instead of that, P4 edit, okay, -c, give the CL number. Okay, open my file in this particular sales change list. Okay, then submit that. But in general, what I mean, most of the people will use the UI, so that's why I want to show it. Here. Okay, so now you can actually revert this if you want. Okay, so if you want, you can submit it. Okay, so that is the use of the save changes number. Handling the conflict. Now I have two users. Okay, I opened a file a first.txt. The other developer also opened a.txt. Right now, if two users now actually what I do is I have added another user called Sam. Okay, let me okay, I need to create a workspace for him. Okay, new. Okay, the workspace name is okay, and where to check in the workspace root here. So drag dev. Okay, and here the mappings. Yeah, I'm okay with it. So this is my root directory, workspace root directory, and this is my depot tree. Press OK. So here what, you don't have any, I haven't synced anything, so that's why it is not showing. It is not showing anything in the anything in the client. So here it is not showing anything here. So depot, yeah, I mean you have files, but in the workspace you don't have anything. Okay, so I'll sync to it. I'll sync to as a SAM. I mean here. Okay, so get the latest. Okay, so you have in the workspace you have those files. Okay, now here I'll open this first.txt. Okay, check out. Okay, I'll open in the default only. Okay, here if you refresh here, okay, so when you mouse over on this particular file, see here for Sam it is showing okay, checked out by Joe. So you get that kind of information. Okay, So even here also I'll check out a question here. Okay, all right. So both users now have, I mean, they open two, same file. Okay, so either this user can check in first or this user can check in first. Okay, so here I'll as a SAM, what I do is open with a notepad. I'll do change from SAM. Okay, so I made some change here. Okay, now I'll try to submit. Okay, here I submitted. Now here also I will edit this particular file. Okay, okay. Now I'll try to submit here. I'll try to submit here. Okay, submit. See, here it is already showing. Okay, out of date. Get latest revision to set up a resolve. Okay, so even it will not allow you to even the submit. Okay, what you need to do is you need to get the latest revision first. Okay, so right click, get latest revision. So whenever you do latest revision, so here you get a question mark. Okay, so once you mouse over, it says needs a resolve. Okay, just right click. Okay, right click on this particular file. Okay, so you should have a resolve menu. Okay, just do just click on it. So this will open a window for resolving. Okay, so just run the merge tool. Okay, here there is a button called run merge tool. Okay, just press this. So you have a, this is the base. Okay, on which the both users are actually worked. Okay, okay. So this is a file made by other user. This is a change made by other user. This is a change by users. Okay, now what is the result? Now you want to, whether you want to have both, okay, like this, or whether you want to have your own change or his own change. Okay, so you need to take the decision. Okay, before taking the decision, okay, now you can delete both here. Okay, deleting both the time. Deleting both. I don't want his change or my change, so I want a new change. So this is also acceptable here, because see, now the other user opened that particular file to fix a particular bug. Okay, you open the same file to fix another bug, right? So here what maybe you changed in the same place where other user actually changed. Okay, so in that case what the responsibility on you, the second user who actually checked in for the second time. Okay, so he need to make the changes on the final file where it is going to fix both the bugs, because the other user already fixed a particular bug at the same point where you are actually making the changes. So that time what you have to make sure that, okay, it should fix both the bugs, your bug as well as his bug. Because if you do something, okay, which is actually disturbing the other fix, then there is no use by other user, by the change made by other user, right? So you have to make sure that, okay, so that will address your issue as well as the other user issue. Okay, so deleting both and putting new content. maybe, I mean, I'm just putting that particular, I mean, the text here, but what, I mean, you can delete, I mean, entire your changes as well as his own changes, and you can keep new things, okay, I mean, new fix there, okay, which will address both fixes. I mean, it is a rare case where you get the situation like, I mean, at the same point, you are actually making the change for to address two bugs. I mean, if you have, I mean, okay, one for one fix, you, I mean, that other user made a change in a different location of the file. Now you are doing a different location. Then, I mean, it is easy. Okay, so let that particular change be there. So you can do your own change and you can fix. I mean, you can submit it. But if you have like you have a loop, I mean, you have if condition where you made the change and the other user also made the change at same point. So that time, I mean, you need to make the decision. Okay, so I mean, what change I need to make to address the, I mean, both issues, his change as well as your change. So I mean, that you need to, I mean, the responsibility on you to decide, okay, what is the correct syntax I need to use, or what is the correct thing I need to, what is the correct logic I need to use to address both the issues. So what, okay, so I'll save this, okay, and I'll come out. So replace the result file, yes, okay, so this is resolved. Now I can check in this particular file, submit, okay, resolving it, submit. Okay, so if you see this, so you actually deleted both the, I mean, changes made by other user and your change, and you keep, I mean, new content. Either or otherwise you can merge. Okay, I mean, if he did in some different location, you modify in different location, you can actually have both the changes and you can actually submit. So what I want to say here is, I mean, the second user, I mean, the responsibility will be on the second user to decide what is the result content should be there on the final file when you have a conflict. Okay. So if you look at the history of this particular file, so um, so you have the Sam change as well as Joe change, because you resolved it and you submitted as a new change. Okay, so that is about the conflict. So you basically you will get the conflict when two users trying to edit the same file simultaneously. Okay, so P4 resolve is a command prompt if you want to use, so that will open an editor to resolve the conflict. Just wait it. Okay, so there is another concept called branching and merging. Okay, now what? So always developers try to work on the main line. I mean, we'll call as a trunk. Okay, so I mean, in some companies, what they do is they'll always developers work on a trunk. So whenever they have um, any release, so they'll just create a branch under particular release name. Okay, but some companies will work in another way. Okay, so developers always work on a release branch. Okay, so they'll create a release branch from the trunk. Okay, then they'll work on the release branch. So once they're done with the release, they will land that particular uh, release branch onto the trunk, and then they'll create a new branch for the new release. Okay, so I mean, it depends on the company's I mean, decision. Okay, whether developer has to work on a trunk or a release branch. Both will work. Both will work. Okay, so now I'm working on the trunk. Okay, so today I want to release a version called product 1.0. Okay, so that time what, in general, the people, I mean, the company will create a branch for it. Okay, so why I need to create a branch? Okay, why should I create a branch? Okay, so what happens now, today I released a branch with a CL number 10. Okay, so this is my depot. So with this particular change, Okay, I want to release this particular product. Okay, okay, then what? So developers keep on checking into this even after the release. Okay, so you gave the release the version 1.0 to particular customer. Okay, so he found some bug on this particular product. Now developer wants to fix it. So if they fix anything, what happens? Hmm, the fix will be made on top of the existing, the current one, right? Now you're in process of releasing 2.0. Okay, so you already made some check-ins. In middle, you got this particular bug. Okay, so customer asked to have fix it. Okay, so now you are going to fix that particular bug on top of the existing status. You can't go back to the particular situation where the changes number 10 and fix it, because you can't do that. Whenever you fix it, whenever you submit any changes, it will come on top of the current status. So you already checked in, maybe you are at changes number 36. Okay, so on top of 36 means 37 will come as a new change list. Now if you give this fix with the latest code, what I mean it is not refined it, and because you haven't released the release 2.0. Even if you release 2.0, so you are giving actually new release to the customer, right? So to avoid that kind of situation, what they do is they will create a, today I released a one, so I create a new release branch for this as a 1.0. Okay, so what I do is let me do that particular uh, here. Okay, so I'll create a release branch. Okay, so to create a release branch, okay, here yeah, actually I have to do a, okay, what I do is I'll create a new depot. Here I just have one depot, right? So I need to create a new depot. So where I can create a new depot, tools, administration. So here is the administration. Okay, so here you have depots. Okay, so depots has only one depot, so that is so I want to have a new depot here. Okay, here I'll name it as releases. Okay, so I just created it. Now if you see here, okay, so you get the new depot called releases. Okay, so whenever I release a new product, so a new version of my product, so I'll create a branch from the depot from here to here. So I'll create one. Okay, so for that, to create any when a new branch or something, so first you need to make sure that the the other the target folder also in your workspace. Meaning now if you see the workspace here, okay, so edit my current workspace. Okay, so this will have the mapping. This has mapping for only for your depot itself, but not for the other depot called releases. You don't have anything here. You don't have anything here. So even I want to make it for releases also. Okay, let me save this. Okay, so this is a. I don't want to exclude anything here. Don't save it. Let me do it from the command prompt. It will be easy for us. Okay, I don't know. Oh, okay. P4 client. Just run the P4 client. Okay. So here whatever I did in the Joe. So yesterday we created, right? So depot dev. Okay. So here what I do is I'll create even the mapping for releases depot also. So releases dot space. So this the first letter first word should be Joe Dev itself. Okay, slash releases. Okay, So I want to create the mapping even for the releases also. Just save it. Yes, save and come out. Okay. Now today I want to release product 1.0. Now I need to create a branch from the depot to the releases folder. Okay. So P4 integrate, we use P4 integrate command. Okay. // depot. So this is the source. Okay, and the destination is releases slash uh, product 1.0. Okay, I'll just run this command. Okay, so it'll copy, it'll branch from the source to the destination. Now I have to do before submit. Okay, so here it'll all any submit will ask for the description. Okay, so creating release 1.2 branch. Save it, come out. Okay, now if you see here in the releases branch, don't get, I don't want, or you can get it actually. Okay, so you'll have the copy of these files here. Okay, now what is the use? No, why should I create a release branch? Okay, I mean, as I said, okay, developers always works on the depot. Okay, so they'll keep on check-ins for the future releases. Okay, if a particular customer took the product 1.0, okay, and he finds some defect, okay, and now developers in middle of releasing 2.0. Now if they want to fix something and release 1.0, so they can actually sync here, okay, which has the state of the release 1.0, so they can sync here and they can do fix onto this release branch, so that they will not disturb the the existing code line where you are having the release 2.0. Yes. So so if you fix the bug, so I mean it will actually not, if you are checking in something here, okay, prod 1.0, so that will not modify anything in the actual branch. So depot. So we call as the main line, or some people even call as a trunk. Okay. So if you do something here, that will not get affected anything in the trunk, or even if you do something here, that will not get affected here. So it'll become a two different paths. Okay, so now what? So you do some check-ins, and after some days you want to release that product 2.0. So when they declare product 2.0, so they'll create a new branch called releases product 2.0. Okay, so so they'll again, developers can continue in the main line, okay, under the depot. So they'll start checking if they have any issues with either with the release 1.0 or release 2.0. So they can actually go to, I mean, sync that particular code from the releases branch, and they can check in the code to fix that particular bug. Okay, so that is the use of the branches. Okay, then the jobs. So as I said, the jobs is to track the any bug or any feature. Now, how that helps? Now, first, I found a bug at a customer. Okay. Now I want to track that particular bug. So what I do is, there is a um, uh, um, there is a tab here. Okay, where you have the jobs, view jobs. So here I don't have any job. So what I do is, I'll create a new job here. Okay. Is there any filter here? No. So I'm not able to create a job here. Okay, I can create from here also. Yeah, new job. Okay, so job. Okay, bug 123. So this is my job. Oh, description. Okay, so um, this is UI bug reported by client ABC. Okay, so I created a bug. Okay, now I want to fix this particular bug. Okay, so what now in general what developers will do is mm, mm, they'll open the they'll check out the file. Okay, now what I'll edit this notepad. Okay, fixing bug number 123. This is a change I want to make to fix that particular bug. Okay, I'll submit. Okay, fixing bug number 123. Here, here you have a link jobs to the change list. Okay, here you can actually browse that particular one. Okay, and submit it. Okay, if you go to the jobs, okay, as a manager, I can look at this uh, uh, job. When I open this, so it will show the change list. Okay, so with this particular change list, they made some changes onto the repository. So this is a change list, and this is a user who actually fixed this particular bug. Even it will show which files actually changed for this particular change list. Okay, you can do a diff with the previous revision. Okay, so this is a change made in his file. Okay, to fix that particular bug. So, not just one change list, not just one change list. You can submit multiple changes. Okay, whenever they check in the, whenever they're submitting the change, so they need to add that particular job to this particular his own CL. So what? Whenever you open this particular bug, you will have another change list here, maybe 13, 14. Okay, so you can group 2-3 CLs with a job. So maybe not just the bug. Now you will create another job with a feature. Okay, I want to have a dashboard feature. So what? I'll create a new job. I'll create a new job with a hmm, dashboard. That description. Just I'm giving an example. Okay, so oh, this should not have any. Maybe I'll give underscore. Okay, so I have another job with the name called job board underscore feature. Now what? I can check in multiple changes by linking this particular job while submitting. Okay, so when I open this, so it will have all the change lists submitted for this particular feature. Okay, so this is about the jobs. So here, here actually I have I actually mentioned with the command line. Okay, P for job. It is to create your um, your job. Okay, so when you after submitting, normally what in general what they do is I mean after submit you'll get the change list number, right? So you link it. Okay, after this, I mean after the submission also you can actually link. Okay, so P for fix hyphen C CL number with the job name. So it automatically link your change list with the job name. Okay, so that is about the jobs. And the label is the same uh, like the job, but thing is what label is just like a looks like a tag. Okay, tag meaning okay, today we have release 1.0. Okay, now I want to create a tag here. Okay, now we actually created I mean depot, I mean the main line has I mean you have different releases. Okay, today we have a release. Okay, so I want to tag it as a release 1.0. Okay, so you can make use of label. Okay, so you just need to create the I mean tag, I mean that is called a P4 tag. Okay, you can just try these different scenarios like it is not about, it's not just about the releases. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to stay, I want to have a state like okay, this is release 5.5. No, I don't want 5.5. Okay, I want to have mm, uh, 3. Okay, this is I want 1.0 revision 1, get the revision 1. Okay, so I have I mean different revisions here. Okay, now I want to have this kind of state. Okay, I want to save this, I want to save this kind of a situation. Okay, so what you can do is you can use a P4 I mean label sync. Okay, so that is what what it will do is whatever the files we actually have the revisions. Okay, so it will save with that particular label. Okay, so if you sync with that particular label, always you will get this kind of revisions. Okay, so first .txt will come as a 3 and third .txt will come as a revision number 1 and the second .txt will come as a revision number 2. So means what, to save a particular state. I mean, I mean maybe the latest revision or previous revision. So it's more, it will talk more about the files. Okay, what kind of revisions you have on the state. Okay, so it will sync to that. So no need to remember what is the revision of the first file, what is the revision of second file. You just I mean you make that particular situation. Okay, save with the particular label. That's it. So it automatic whenever you try to sync about the label, so automatically it will sync to that particular state. Okay, so this is the command. Okay, so we are done. So today we actually looked at the how to delete a file, how to sync a particular change list or revision. Okay, looking for history I mean how what are I mean how to look at from the command prompt as well as the GUI. Then inspecting the client file. I mean files. Yeah, I mean it is very easy from the GUI tool when you look at. So when you open the GUI tool, okay. But otherwise, if you want to look from the command prompt, yes, I mean you have P4 have and P4 files command to look at the history or look at the state. What is the state on the server? What is the state on the client? Okay, then the working with save change list. I mean this we can make use of this concept when you have multiple bugs working simultaneously. So you can save two change lists. Okay, then you can open your files according to your requirement. So if you're opening a particular file for to fix a particular bug, okay, you need to open that particular file in the corresponding CL number. So I mean it will make your life easy when you are trying to submit. So when you open all the files in a same I mean default change list, okay, what happens is I mean all the files will be there in the default, it will show in the default change list. But whenever you submit a fix for a particular bug, I mean you need to select manually, okay, which file you want to select. Sometimes you may miss or you may you may add unnecessary file. So to avoid that kind of situation, so make use of this save change list. Okay. um, Handling the conflict. So you'll get the conflict when two users are simultaneously working on the same file. Okay. So yeah, you'll use a P4 resolve or UI tool. That is actually a P4 resolve only. So you can do that. Okay. So branching and merging. So branches we use to actually maintain the different releases of the product. Okay. So if they want to fix something, so they can go to the release branch and they can fix and come back. Okay. Jobs is to maintain the uh, bug or feature, whatever it's, you can name it. Okay. So you'll create a job in the purpose. So a developer has to link their check-ins to that particular job when they're trying to check in for that particular purpose. Okay. So label is more about the revisions of a particular files. Okay. So if you want to go to a particular state where you want to have different revisions, so you can actually make use of the label. In general, very rare we use the label. Okay. So mostly they'll make use of the CL. Okay. So I'll try to sync to the particular release. Okay. So maybe that release is actually that release 1.0 released with the CL number 10. Okay, just go to sync to that particular CL number. So get revision CL number 10. So you automatically get the code of release 1.0. But thing is, if you want to have a mixture uh, uh, like a one file should be 3, one should with the 1, one should with the 5, something like that. So that time what you need to make use of label only, but you never get such a situation. Okay. So that is about label. So this is more about the Perforce server. Okay. What you do, day-to-day activities along with the Perforce. You have any questions, you can. Yeah, this is the last class. We just have 2 sessions for the Perforce. Yes, tomorrow I'll try to upload these uh, uh, to the Dropbox. Tomorrow, our time. Yes, we are done with the class. If you have any questions, you can ask. Okay, I'll try to give these videos to the Niranjan so that he can upload the videos.